And with that, we welcome you into the Target Center here on Prep45.com, powered by Grand Stadium TV. On the play-by-play call, I'm Webster Ford. I am currently to the left of the color commentator. That's Kyle Lindblom, and we're here. We have game number 2 coming up, and number 2 will have the Bettendorf, Iowa Bulldogs taking on the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders. And Bettendorf coming in number 2 in the entire state of Iowa. And think about this, Kyle, they're coming up and they are ranked number 61 in the entire country, according to USA Today in their poll. And Cretin-Derham Hall not ranked even within their class, let alone anywhere in the state of Minnesota, anywhere else. So, I mean, talk about a tall task for the Raiders today. A good team nonetheless, you know, coming in, Cretin-Derham Hall 8-1, but they are coming in a little bit of dogs to the dogs, as it were.
I would certainly agree that we look at an underdog situation here, but we also look at the fact that Cretin-Derham Hall's from here. This is their home. You know, if they all make it to the NBA, it could be this court they play on. So, hey, you got to give them a little bit of advantage in front of the home crowd that seems to be relatively sizable. Bettendorf brought a few of their own, but Bettendorf, Iowa last year, 25-1, losing just the state championship. A little bit of a chip on the shoulder. You got to expect them to come back and play hard, and getting a chance to see them is quite the treat.
It is indeed a treat, and thank you so much for getting on to Prep45.com, powered by Grand Stadium TV, to take in this game. And the starting lineups are all getting announced, and taking a look at the starting lineups, looking for Bettendorf, who comes in now undefeated, 5-0. They are averaging 63 points a game, and with that, they are averaging only giving up just over 29 a game. So it's a solid defense. Looking at it, starting for the Bulldogs, Dylan Sortillo, Cole Clearman, Kendall Jacks, Kyle Buman, and Nick Beer. And for the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders, Sam Newman, Joe Rosga, Jalen Ousley-Brown, Donnell Gresham, who was at Tartan and is now able to play after taking that year of eligibility away from transferring from Tartan to Cretin-Derham Hall. And then the final starter is Brian Langford Johnson. And height goes the way of the Bettendorf, Iowa Bulldogs, as they come in with kind of their black and gold, very traditional type of feel about their jerseys and everything. And the purple and gold clad Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders, they got their black jerseys, purple numerals, and gold trim. And we're ready to play in the center tip. We've got Nick Beer and I believe Sam Newman, the 6'6" Newman. He's got an older brother, CJ, who is in fact at Wofford down in South Carolina, where a bunch of Minnesota players had been recruited to play, thanks to Bram graduate Noah Dahlman. Now a nice zip pass starts things off in a huge bucket to get it all going. Kyle Buman.
There's no better way to start. Bring the ball up the court, a couple of quick passes, a good take to the basket, hoop in the harm, and a chance for a three-point play to start.
2-0 Bettendorf up already. And in that state championship game, Kyle, that you mentioned that they lost last year, that was the #1 team in the entire state of Iowa, and they were nationally ranked as well. Free throw for Buman, front rim, no good, but the rebound controlled and put back up and in. Already 4-0, only 18 seconds in, and that was a putback by Bear, as I've been corrected by the overhead announcer. Not Beer. Might not want to talk about that anyway. With high school.
It's only 11:03. We'll get a couple after this one. Don't worry.
Hi-yo. Ball now into the hands of Newman. Dribble drive, the 6'6" guard floats it up and in. He's a junior. He's listed as a forward, but really, wherever he goes, he's going to be put into that 2 or 3 type of role, I would think. 4-2 is the score in favor of Bettendorf. Looking at it, Sortillo with the ball, loses control and regained now by Cretin-Derham Hall. The Raiders now with the ball outside the 3-point line. Lots of motion in their offense for the Raiders. What a find up and under, and a big old block by Sortillo.
We're seeing a much faster pace already in the first 2 minutes of this game than we saw, I believe, in any time of the earlier game this morning.
Little floater put up there by Bear, and Bear just out of the grasps of the rim. Remains 4-2, Bettendorf on top. Little step back shot, a la Michael Jordan on Byron Russell in the '98 finals, and it's put back. And that is Donnell Gresham with the bucket, ties it up at 4. You mentioned it, very fast-paced so far, Kyle. Very fun to watch so far. Hands-up defense, flopping all over the place, and a jump ball. Kendall Jacks lost control of it, and he dove for it like it was going out of style. But because the possession arrow initially favored Cretin-Derham Hall, that jump ball will go to
And again, we're seeing a full complement of players on each bench here. I know we saw earlier for Grand Rapids a few bodies short, but here we're seeing many guys ready to come in, check into this ball game, and get ready to play.
See 11 on the Bettendorf bench. We'll check the Cretin bench in just a minute. Bettendorf with the rebound, and who missed a chance on a long outlet pass did Sortillo.
11 on that side. So in the event that this basketball game gets too crazy, we've got a full complement of football players. We can get a game of 11-11 going.
We don't even have to do the 7-on-7. Stop at the elbow. Sortillo makes it 6-4.
Sortillo.
They say Sortillo. It's a double L. I know Spanish, so I'm gonna say Sortillo.
In the house that Ricky Rubio is helping to keep open, I guess I'll have to take that.
What a spin, step back, Sammy Newman. Oh, Newman with the bucket with 6s. Now we're in it. Good, more offensive production from a couple of very strong defensive teams.
And we're hearing both sidelines be much more vocal. We're hearing a lot of noise coming from the coaches, a lot more activity. This is a bit more up-tempo.
Two big schools going at it, and the rebound put back up and in by Nick Bear. Nick Bear, the 6'7" senior.
That's tall.
Top 4 players back from last year include Cole Clement, Kendall Jacks, Sortillo, and Nick Bear. A little step back by Newman. Newman misses it and gives off the rebound to Clearman. Clearman off over for Bear. Bear avoids the pressure, misses the bucket, and a rebound down into the hands.
The one thing you can't do when you're trying to take a charge is do a pirouette of some kind and then fall to the ground. You got to get yourself set and fall over. They're not going to call it if you slide into the camera guys.
Yes, indeed. Joe Rozga steps on the out-of-bounds line. Joe Rozga, of course, related to lifetime executive Jeff Rozga. Step back shot, back rim no good. Rebound controlled by Bettendorf, and Sortillo puts it back up and in. And it's 10-6 already. Not even 4 minutes gone. We've had 16 points between the two teams. A lot more offense from these very high-octane offensive producers.
Well, just, even Cretin-Derham Hall, who suffered their first loss of the season on the 28th of December, averaging 85 a night. So we certainly will have no shortage of scoring on a fast break. Look here.
Big look up. Nice layup by Kyle Newman, and Bettendorf off to a fast start. Already just 4 minutes in, 12-6. They're showing why they are 61st in the country, number 1 in Iowa.
And number 2. And you have to remember Grand Rapids in the earlier game, they scored 15 in the first half. Bettendorf has 12 just a couple of minutes into the game, so we can certainly expect probably a higher score by the time this one's all said and done.
This is the 18th annual Timberwolves Shootout, and of course with that, the Timberwolves Shootout has hosted a lot of NBA players on this court. Obviously, this is the home of the Minnesota Timberwolves here at the Target Center. Has professional players on it every, 41 nights a year, and for the last 10 years, only 41 nights in the year. Let's be completely honest. Well, we play the spade as the spade, Kyle. But when you take a look at it, players before they became pros, Sebastian Telfair, our own Kevin Love, many, many other players, DeMarcus Cousins, Cole Aldrich, bunch of players from Minnesota, Sam Jacobson, Khalid El-Amin. We could go on and go on and go on.
It's a lot of all-stars, lots of guys, and then some guys that were big in Minnesota. Here's another long outlet pass. We got and a behind-the-back pass.
Oh, Buhlman with a lay-in. And now the lead has now already swollen to 8.
That was a very Kevin Love, Corey Brewer type outlet pass there that resulted in a behind-the-back pass and a layup.
And now an offensive foul, and that's going to be called on Gresham. Tartan transfer, Gresham with the foul. Checking in is 23, Mike Lintz. And Bettendorf is one of the big, one of the 4 quad cities. And as far as population-wise, it's down in that south and east corner of Iowa on the Illinois border, and it's the smallest population-wise of the quad cities. That's a long drive. They've brought a lot of people as Nick Bear puts it up and in.
And the only problem we saw there is we saw number 23 for Cretin-Derham Hall, Brian Langford Johnson, full court press, and then he comes all the way down the court, and then a screen comes, and he abandons his man for a wide open jump shot. You put all that effort in for 85 feet, and then you get to that final little stretch, and suddenly you go away. You got to stay with your man.
Lead is 10 for the Bettendorf Bulldogs. They lost in the state championship game last year, 25-1. This year already 5-0. Nary giving up 30 points a night. And on this, now is a steal by Cretin-Derham Hall, up and in. Cuts the lead back into single digits. And Gresham with the lay-in makes it 16-8. Nice man defense put on by the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders. Almost a little bit of a ball denied type of defense, forcing them towards the sidelines. Defense put up by Newman, and everything on the rim gets touched by the ball, but for naught, as the rebound controlled by Owsley Brown. Newman from about 18, swish.
That's the second pull-up jumper he's made. That's kind of seems to be his forte. Get the ball, one dribble, put it up and in.
Coach Kurt Clark of the Bettendorf Bulldogs slaps his hands in disgust after only giving up 4 points. You know, like, there are expectations out of this guy, and he's calmly handling it, but you can tell that he is, in a sense, almost frustrated as players.
Yeah, and you know, when you give up 29 a game, and then this team is already, you know, nearly halfway to what they normally give up with 12 minutes to go, you're right. I mean, it's a harsh expectation to say, hey, you guys are giving up 10 points. Let's call a timeout and talk about it. But when you expect, better than that, you got to take drastic measures from time to time.
12:25 left on the first half clock, and of course we're here at the Timberwolves Shootout with the Timberwolves Shootout.
In its 18th year, and it's been going back since 1995-96, back when Sam Jacobson played in the very first of the shootout games. Cottage Grove against Woodbury. Cottage Grove victorious in that game. And like you mentioned, again, just all over and we'll probably talk about more at halftime, some of the states represented, not just Iowa and Minnesota, but just so many places from around the country, north, south, east, and west, that have been involved in this tournament.
All over the Midwest have been involved, as far out west as California. Big three-point ball up and no good, and a rebound squeezed. This time by Cretin-Derham Hall, and on the run they go. Out into the hands of Newman, dribble drive, kicks it back out to Gresham. Gresham now in control for Cretin-Derham Hall, has it to Hannon.
Newman wants to shoot. He's made that.
Oh, Newman with the three-point bucket. He's got a stroke, doesn't he?
That's 2 jumpers and a 3, both from that left wing side. I mean, if they don't stop that, it could be a lot of timeouts and a lot of anger coming out of Bettendorf if he keeps hitting the jumpers.
The lead is down to 3, and the ball kept controlled by Nick Baer. Stops at the elbow, zip it away, and now it's going to be poked away by Cretin-Derham Hall. On the run, they have slight numbers, the slight man advantage, and the lead is down to 1. It was at one time 10, and the 9-0 run has now made it 16-15 in only the span of about 2 minutes. Float jumper up and no good, and Cretin-Derham Hall will gain control of the ball as the ball goes off. Kendall Jacks.
Was that a B minor? I don't know what particular note that was, but it was lovely.
That was a yes. B flat.
Okay.
Minor is the key, because it was sad.
Yeah, I'm not musical, I'm sorry. I just picked something out that sounded right and hoped you went with it.
16-15 is the score. Cretin-Derham Hall looking to take the lead for the very first time in this game. There's only been 6.5, almost 7 minutes gone. And now a three-point ball. Sam Newman heat check, and he cooled off
the only
just
reason
a little bit.
That ball came up just short, and the only reason that it came up short is because he was fading away just slightly. There was a defender in his face. If he gets squared up, that ball's in.
16-15 is the score. Bettendorf with the lead and the ball. Near side, three-point line, near to us, near to the camera angle. Now a nice little give and go on the bucket, up, over, and out of the rim. Yeah. Gresham with the rebound and gets away with a nice little Jordan-esque push-off.
On the other end, the backboard is there for a reason. Use it.
Three-point ball, corner bucket, no good. Rebound squeezed by Kendall Jacks. So it remains 16-15. Newman.
Wide open. That was an easy, probably a slam dunk for number 51 from Bettendorf, Nick Baer.
Three-point ball up and no good, but nice offensive rebound, put back up and no good. And Baer in all 6'7", he just yanked, he looks right at his coach and says, "Coach, I need a blow. I've been playing hard for 8 minutes."
You know, CDH could be up by 6 points right now. If the last 3 trips, they've just not gone their way with the ball going in the hoop.
As we sit just under 10 in the first half. Missing a cutter was Baer, now hands it off. Jumper from just about 18 feet away, just inside that three-point line. And it's good by Clearman. Clearman, a senior. Nice to have your core guys back as Newman goes around the defense, touches every portion of the rim, and now we got numbers, does Bettendorf. And oh boy, they called that on Gresham. They called it on Gresham, Kyle.
Yeah, we're seeing some officiating here that's, they're letting them play on one end, calling a ticky-tack on the other. We'll see if it evens out here over the next 9.5 left here in this first half.
18-15, Sortillo back in the game.
And it's good to see, some teams they get down by 10 early, and you can sort of give up a little bit. But CDH was having none of that early in this game at the Timberwolves shootout.
18th annual shootout's been going on since 95-96. Sam Jacobson, before he was a Gopher. Sortillo gets away with a little push off. Now gets it off to the far side 3-point line. A nice defense ball poked away by Owsley Brown, the sophomore. The kid's 6'2", he's probably got some more growth in him, and he's already quick on the defensive end. You don't see him much down on the offensive end, Kyle, but sometimes one-way player like that, you play defense, you're going to get some looks on offense. And it looks like Cretin-Derham Hall's hands are very quick. We're seeing that. They've got a couple of steals. They've knocked a couple of balls out of bounds. They're getting their hands in the passing lanes, and that's a great way to disrupt an offense like Bettendorf that we know is going to try and put up 80 points here in this game. And they were on track for it really quick. They have since slowed and regressed to the mean a little bit. Ball kicked out. Sortillo for three. Back rim, front rim, no good, but Bettendorf rebound, and Jacks can't get it. Controlled by Bettendorf, and it's going to go up for a free throws as Jack Kallenberger, the 6'5 junior, gets an offensive rebound and then gets fouled on his way back up. And we'll see our first free throw, some early free throws here. Again, they play a big part. The game earlier, not necessarily maybe as close as we thought it was going to be coming down to the wire, but there was certainly a tide moving. When the Grand Rapids had lowered the lead down to 10 points, missed a couple of free throws, and if you get a chance to see this, folks, watch the game from earlier. 3 consecutive monster dunks from J.P. McCurr to blow that game wide open. 19-15's the score after the made free throw from Kallenberger. If you were to have a Kallenberger, what do you think would be on it?
Avocado, tomato, and cheese.
Half of that sounds good. That's right, I made a fraction that doesn't exist. Half of thirds. How you like that?
We made a fictional sandwich out of somebody's last name. I think we both win.
19-15 score after this free throw. Owsley Brown, the aforementioned Owsley Brown. Maybe showing why he doesn't get much offensive output as he puts one hard off the rim from about 7.5 feet away. And away we go. Again, I'm Webster Ford. Kyle Lindblom is my color commentator today. Thanks so much for being on Prep45.com. Powered by Grand Stadium TV. 3-point ball, Bettendorf, back rim, no good. And squeezing the ball out of the air is Frank Delaney.
One thing we're not seeing a lot of today, offensive rebounding. We're seeing a lot of one and dones. Guys are shooting the ball from the perimeter. There's nobody inside, pulling it down.
And Owsley Brown honestly looks a little like Jaleel White.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with that. I mean, like after the Urkel glasses were off, the suspenders, and he became like the
suave.
Muffin. Yeah, the muffin, as it were. And Owsley Brown gets called for the player control / charge foul. Either way, ball goes back. Now as we have officially crossed past the halfway mark. Technically, if we had quarters in Minnesota State High School League basketball, we'd be in the second quarter. 3-point ball just rims around.
When did they change that? Because when I was a graduate in 2002, we played 4 quarters then. So that would have been
it was the 04 season, if I remember correctly.
So just a couple of years after I got out, they said let's do halves.
Yep, as the little layup goes in, makes it now just a lead of 2. Cretin, again, has not yet led in this game. We're over halfway in the first half. Sortillo, little drop-off pass, and this is where Bettendorf has dropped off a little bit, and the ball controlled. Nice hustle there by Cretin-Derham Hall, and away we go. Right now, Newman on the bench, and a ill-advised pass in and out of the hands of George Hottinger. And as I mentioned, Newman on the bench by Job. Here he is, off of the bench. They're saying Gresham, but I guarantee you it's Gresham.
Yeah. How can you make that guarantee?
Well, I saw him play in Tartan.
Oh,
so
okay.
7:10 left on the clock, and now we're looking at a 19-17 game. Bettendorf with the ball and the lead.
I'm seeing a lot of forearms into defenders here. No calls yet, but a lot of movement by the offensive player to get themselves some distance.
And a little bit of redemption as George Hottinger, the 6'2 senior, gets it up and in.
Now, I got to tell you, we talked about this before the game. We did not think this was going to be a close ball game. Bettendorf is a superior team on paper, And seeing it live, CDH is playing better defense. We got a 19-19 ball game.
38 points apiece, or 38 points total. 3-point ball. Sortillo, no good. He started off hot and he has drastically cooled off. Matched what could be the temperature that we are seeing outside the Target Center today and for the next few days in the entire state of Minnesota. And big pressure defense now zipped over to Sam Newman. Newman traveled at the 3-point line, got away with it, back rim no good. There's your offensive rebound, Kyle Inbo. Now 3-point ball. Oh, in and out again. Now another rebound. Recoil, third time, not a charm. Rebound, Sortillo gets it, and then he gets pushed to the ground. Huge push to the ground by not Michael Lentz, Brian Lankford Johnson.
I can only hope the rim on this end of the floor is this unkind to the Oklahoma City Thunder this evening when the Minnesota Timberwolves play them.
We can only hope.
And I've been kind of surveying the crowd. You wonder if maybe a couple of those gentlemen, may come and take in a game or to kind of see what's going on. But no Joe Mauer sightings as of yet for you Cretin-Derham Hall fans. A gentleman in a Twins cap, not quite tall enough to be Mr. Mauer.
Not, and with all due respect to him, not quite athletic looking enough as well.
And I see no sideburns, so that's...
Well, yeah, and when you're burnless, you can't be Joe Mauer. And though there have been a few times that Kevin Durant has been in the Target Center as a spectator, it's usually been as he was watching his fiancée Monica Wright on the way to a WNBA championship. But he is not in attendance quite yet. Probably very well could be in attendance for this evening's game or the later game with Tyus Jones in Apple Valley. That's coming up later.
Yeah, watch that. That's going to be a good ball game.
I'm pumped, and you could watch it with Mike Peden on the call. He'll have the play-by-play call. Now ball into the hands of Nick Baer. He has the Patrick Ewing shimmy shake, and he puts it up. He took Patrick Ewing's 3 steps as well. Didn't get called for it, and he gets the lead back to the Bulldogs. Saw a Wisconsin coach here. We were talking about how this could be, a great place for exposure for some of these guys that are better, if not elite. And now a nice little layup. Brian Lankford Johnson bowls over Sortillo. Sortillo was ready for it, and he took the charge.
He did. And back when I was at the great school of Maple River in southern Minnesota, when you took a charge in a game, Coach bought you a can of soda afterwards.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I know a few places actually give like team awards, and one of them is the credit card award. The one who takes the player on your team who takes the most charges gets that.
I like soda.
I will take a soda. So, I was going to say Portillo, but no, Sortillo with the ball. Gets it to Baer. Baer misses, loses control, and ball gained control by Cretin-Derham Hall. On the run is Joe Razga, and Razga just goes absolutely nuts 2 times down the floor. Sortillo, 2 straight charges taken.
We're going to start referring to them as the Bettendorf MasterCards. They're taking so many charges.
Outstanding work. Razga bowls over.
From a very young age playing basketball, if you take charges and you make free throws, you're going to be a tough team to beat.
Yep.
Those are 2 things that don't appear on a lot of stat sheets. Charges, for instance, don't. But if you're the kind of team that's going to get in the way and take away those layups, you're going to get turnovers, you're going to get ball, you're going to get points on the other end.
Yep. It's points on the other end or not, you get no points given away. And wow, talk about Owsley Brown. And that's, as a coach, when I see that in practice, I actually joke with him. I say, if you're going to get that much, you might as well buy him a dinner or something. Now a ball up and under. No good. Sortillo rather misses it. And right there on the rebound was Newman, but he ran out of floor space.
I'm just going to bring it up because the last time we did it tipped it huge. Right now, Cretin-Derham Hall, 8 fouls. Bettendorf yet to commit 1.
Wow.
I lied.
And there is the broadcaster jinx in full effect, my man. Woo!
That was literally 3 seconds.
Yeah. There's your immediate response.
Talk about instant gratification.
There you go. So the turnover off the foul makes it still 21-19, just over 4 to play. Ball into the hands of Gresham. Gresham setting up the offense at the top of the key, gets it over to Owsley Brown. Owsley Brown passes it off. Did I do that? Now to Joe Newman. Sam Newman. Joe, I don't know who Joe Newman is. Sam Newman now with the ball, pump fake. No, check that. That's going to be now back to Sam Newman.
NBA
three, and it's good from outside the 3-point line in the NBA territory, and he gets body checked to the floor. A 4-point play coming up for Newman.
Bettendorf foul
You don't foul a jump shooter, Kyle.
Not behind an NBA three-point line. I mean, that's like fouling at half court.
Oof. So now Cretin-Derham Hall, for the first time in this game, is on top of the number 61 ranked team in the country. Newman cannot convert. Lead still remains 1. Long outlet pass. And
nice.
What defense? What defense by Gresham as he gets back from completely over-jumping the Bettendorf ball handler, Kendall Jacks, but still able to get that active hands. You were talking about that, Kyle. Very active hands on defense for the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders. 3-point ball. Sortillo.
That was an extremely well run out of bounds play. An inbound pass, a shot to the top of the key. They're gonna rotate to try and cover him. Sortillo wide open in the end.
My heavens! So the lead back, and now a foul on Jacks. As my partner Kyle completely non-verbally voices his disagreement with the call, I usually can go the way of the officials. I will completely fair with you, Kyle. That was everyone's entitled to the exact same space, and the arms were straight up. But nonetheless, Kendall Jacks gets a good explanation from his head coach, Curtis Clark. This is why his team has been perennially very good over the last 10 years. 24-22, Cretin-Derham Hall with the ball and the deficit. Ottinger with the ball, now outside to Newman for 3. And he had a hand in his face, and he did not care. Nick Baer, 6'7", Nick Baer, over his outstretched arms.
Dare I say, with ice water in his veins.
At the very least. The man's been standing outside for too long. 25-24, nice cut by Sortillo, better pass.
One too many passes, you gotta make that layup.
And now a timeout called. No, a jump ball. Jump ball, and the possession arrow favors the neighbors to the south.
Yeah, Sortillo's gotta take that layup there. I appreciate the extra pass, but you've got an open lane to the basket, make the bucket.
25-24 is the score. 2:54 left on the first half clock. It's definitely been, it was a 16-6 rush. Since then, it's been 19-8. And now a 3-point ball missed, and Ottinger with a rebound. And on the run is Gresham, zips it up to Newman. Stop, pop, 3, bang, oh, no good. Oof. It looked good, a ball poked out of bounds off of Owsley Brown. It's 25-24, still. You look at Bettendorf, I talked about them. Their last game was against Assumption High School, a very big win, and that's within their conference. Up next for them is Davenport West. Davenport, of course, another one of the Quad Cities down in that southeast corner of Iowa, and they'll be playing on Tuesday after a weekend. I don't know about the state of Iowa and their school systems as far as if they're going to be closed on Monday, but I know all public schools in the state of Minnesota, so I get the day off on Monday.
If you're from the great state of Wisconsin, they're going to let their districts decide, was the big report this morning. So
there we go. And I will tell you right now, it's nice. I remember being in 7th grade during when Governor Carlson closed schools because it was ridiculously cold. And I believe, oh my heavens, is the official meteorological term for how cold it will be on Monday.
The official one that can be said on air. Other ones, not so much.
Yes. Plenty of them that would not exactly be smiled upon. 25-24, 100 seconds left in the first half. Ball now in control of Newman. Newman keeping that pivot foot, now kicks to Ottinger. Ottinger outside, Gresham, way deep 3, back rim no good, and a rebound by Baer. And Gresham sees the pass like John Lynch, but Baer blocks it. Oh, gets a Baer block. What a nice block there, and now controlling it is Bettinger. And huge 3, Bettendorf.
Oh, he's on the line, Fuller's on the line.
Oh, they call it a 2. So they got to change that. It should be 25-26. Right? Yep, there we go, and it has officially changed.
One thing I've noticed is CDH is taking a lot of, he traveled.
Owsley Brown had a nice move, but maybe a little too nice as he traveled.
I've noticed that Cretin-Derham Hall, they're shooting their 3s. All of them have been beyond the NBA three-pointer.
Yep.
They're not shooting them from the regulation window. They're taking them deep, and they're rimming them out. So maybe if they...
Cretin-Derham Hall in the same section as Apple Valley. They were 14-14 last year. They got bowed out of the section playoffs. So they haven't had as much experience in this 2-tiered colored floor. Whereas you see other teams who've had experience in it, they think, oh man, that's where I have to shoot the 3-point ball from. But actually, they have another 4 feet of spare that they can go in on. And it does that for a lot of teams that don't have very much experience here. 45 seconds left on the clock, 26-25, Bettendorf with a 1-point lead.
And again, Bettendorf allowing just 29 points a game thus far this year. Already 25 getting up to Cretin here with 34 seconds left.
Bettendorf with the ball outside the NBA three-point line, now back out to the logo. It seems as though Bettendorf is content with milking it for the last minute of game time of the half. Ball now to McKissick. McKissick up at the top. Almost got a 5-second call as he was pivoting away. Now under 10 seconds left. Dribble drive for Bettendorf. Blocked, and it's poked out of bounds, so with 3 seconds left, it remains Bettendorf.
I wonder if they'll run that same out-of-bounds play they ran previous, where they're going to have somebody down in that corner.
All right, now Sortillo, the three-point shooter of that one, was not on the floor. Now right at the buzzer, oh, with nothing but the bottom of the net. Cole Clearman makes it good. He makes it good. That was a nice shot to close it up to our half. It's 28-25. Taking a look, looking forward to having a sideline report with Jeff Williams at the half. But Kyle, both of us were talking that we were thinking on paper it was going to be a little bit more of a higher scoring affair, but not nearly the same as we were thinking, huh?
I think there's only a one-word answer for why it's so close. Newman.
Newman. He's been hot. He's been very, very hot, and as just getting all things ready for Mr. Jeff Williams. He's going to be joined by Cretin-Derham Hall head coach Jerry Klein Jr., and we're going to throw it now down to Mr. Jeff Williams on the baseline.
Thanks, Webster. We're here with Cretin-Derham Hall coach Jerry Klein. Coach Klein, you guys were down by 10 early on, but then you had a 13-3 run to actually take the lead for a little bit, now cut it by 1. So how does it feel to actually be this close in the game against the 61st ranked team nationwide?
Well, they're well coached. They're very disciplined. I'm just happy with our guys' effort. We've got some miscues on we got to try to clean up. They take care of the basketball. They don't beat themselves. So our second half here is going to be one that we're going to have to, again, take care of the ball, good possessions, and continue to try to outwork them. This is a great test for us to see where we're at January 4th.
And can you just discuss that 13-3 run?
Well, we're real good when the guys share the ball, move them around, and obviously Sam Newman's hit a couple. Some of our other key guys have not hit shots yet, but part of that is Bettendorf does it to you. They're so sound defensively. They switch and communicate. So we just got to keep attacking, and in that run, we're going to make our runs in an 18-minute half. We're going to make them, but we got to make sure we stop them.
And speaking of Newman, he had that 3-point play, almost a 4-point play.
Yeah, Sam's got incredible range. He's worked on it. It's part of his game. And knowing that guys are going to come out at him, he's going to have to adjust and be able to attack as well.
Thank you, Coach Klein. Good luck in the second half. Webster, back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Hey, good interview there with Coach Klein and Kyle. Taken away from that, you're talking about the run that the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders made. They were run on right away. They were down by 10, but at 16-6. And from that point on, it's been a 19-12 game. And he was talking about, we were doing a couple of things there and there, and we were talking just kind of in joke and in jest. Bigger thing that was happening, they were just making a boatload more baskets at that point.
And sometimes that goes your way. You can build a lead, but if you don't sustain it, the basketball is inevitably a game of runs. You don't necessarily see that in other sports, but when you watch basketball, you can be up by 10 points and you can be down by 10 points very quickly. I read an article yesterday about how the Cleveland Cavaliers came back with less than a minute to go. 10 points in less than a minute in the NBA is pretty impressive. And when you have the opportunity to make that kind of comeback, it is certainly, in a game of basketball with that much time, you can do it.
Most certainly is the case, and in basketball there's always an eternity of time, and we still have another half of basketball. And Kyle, thinking about it now for Bettendorf, they are the number 2 team in the state of Iowa, only behind another very gigantic school within their class. What do they need to do to hold on to this lead?
Well, number one, they got to get over the tongue lashing they're probably going to get in the locker room. As a team that scores a lot of points, that doesn't give up a lot of points, they're certainly going to have to overcome 25 points given up in the first half. We're also going to see maybe some stronger hands, because what we saw was Cretin-Derham Hall be a little faster with their hands, and Bettendorf took a couple early charges. They did some solid work on defense, but Cretin-Derham Hall almost seems like they want it. Bettendorf knows they're the better team, record-wise, being they were in the state championship. But here sits a team in Cretin-Derham Hall that says they probably heard that. They probably read the preview. That, man, we're not going to be very close in this game. And, the worst thing you can do is kick a dog when it's down. And, and Cretin-Derham Hall and Mr. Newman have brought a pretty good first half of ball.
Indeed. And when you think about it, the stark improvement already that the Raiders have made from last year to this year. Last year, they ended the year at 500 after losing in section playoffs to Apple Valley. And, and of course, they're still in the same section as Apple Valley. They're going to want to try to turn that fate on Tyus Jones and the Eagles, which is going to be a tall task. And a great way to try to chip into that task is on January 4th, a month and a half before section playoffs. They play a team that was second in the big school categories in the state of Iowa, 61st in the entire country this year, according to USA Today. That's something that goes to Cretin-Derham Hall's activities directors, goes to their own program, and goes to their alums, because without some of their alums, a few of which we've talked about, Cretin-Derham Hall wouldn't have that type of notoriety. Without when I think Cretin-Derham Hall, and when a lot of people think Cretin-Derham Hall, they think Joe Mauer, they think Chris Wenke, they think a lot of those, they think Michael Floyd, Arizona wide receiver. There's a lot of name notoriety with Cretin-Derham Hall. Even though last year they were 14-14, they're 8-1 this year. So they're trying to make things better so that when section playoffs come around, they're even more tooled for a game against possibly Apple Valley again.
And they're probably even a little angry because that first loss for them came just on the 28th of December. They had started the season 8-0 and suffered their first loss just recently to Rosemount in a game they lost by 10 points. And a game low scoring. Cretin-Derham Hall in their first 8 games, averaging 85 points a game, was able to put up just 62 against Rosemount. So now you kind of have that, a couple of days ago, we got back to school and suffered our first loss. Now we got this great opportunity to come out onto the big stage and take on a real good ball team. To be down by 3, there's got to be some good positivity going on in that CDH locker room, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of us probably expected this game to be maybe 28 to 17, 18, maybe to be an 8 or 10 point margin for them to be within 3. And the only reason they're up by 3 is a late basket there right at the buzzer. Otherwise, it's a 1 point ball game.
And that's Bettendorf. We talked about it. They had one really great inbounds play that allowed Sortillo to be wide open as the day is long from the 3-point corner and nail it like nothing. And it was another great drawn-up play, and and that goes into Bettendorf being a very good team. But that just shows that Cretin has made stark improvements from last year going into this year. And thinking about it, they are averaging 86 points a night. Not as far as average-wise, they're not anywhere close to where that would go if this game were to pan out exactly one half just like the other. But when you think about it, 86 points a night, they're playing really good basketball. They started the season 8-0. Joe Newman now up to 20 points a game. Last year he was at around 14 a night, and that they didn't really lose a whole lot to graduation. In fact, they've gained more. Donnell Gresham able to play this year after taking that year off of eligibility. So this is going to be a lot of fun for this Cretin team, not just today but for the rest of the season. As a quick heads up, I want to thank one of the Kyle Buman's mom. I got a name correction. As some folks in Iowa are listening somehow. And as Kyle Buman's mom came up and said, it's Buman. So there we go. Little name correction.
You should probably retire and never broadcast again after that horrific.
I will hang up the mic. No, I will not.
No, goodness. I can remember I've done some play-by-play work for a collegiate summer baseball program called the Mankato Moondogs, and they were playing
not collegiate. It's Northwestern League.
You settle down.
Come on now.
But there was we were down in Rochester. It was the Moondogs against the Honkers, and the kid pitching, his last name was pronounced Sanabria.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying Sanabria.
Yep.
And one of the kids came up and was pounding on the glass of the press box, and he goes, "Hey man, it's Sanabria." The kid ended up throwing a 7-inning rained-out no-hitter. I wanted to make sure I got his name right, because his parents came up after the game and they're like, "How do we listen to them?" It's archived on the website. Go
of course, yeah.
And listen in. But parents they want to make sure their kids' names get pronounced when they do something fun like this.
Yeah, with such an opportunity like this, and the games are going to be archived right on prep45.com. Of course, we are powered by grandstadium.tv, and I am Webster Ford. I'm the play-by-play call here. Well, my color analyst, my good buddy Kyle Lindblom. He is at Mr. Lindblom on the Twitter. On the Twitter, you can find me. I'm at Webster L. Ford. Follow me. I like to be validated by more followers It feels good, doesn't it?
Well, see, as a lifelong White Sox fan, the White Sox got a new guy. His name is Adam Eaton, and he followed me on Twitter the other day.
Cut off his mic.
Okay, settle down.
Cut off his mic.
We can start talking about tomorrow if you want. You want to talk a little football?
We could talk football. Let's talk football.
Should we talk some football? I mean, we've covered Bettendorf and CDH. Everybody knows what's going to happen here.
We've got another half of basketball, and of course, talking about it. This is a big weekend around the state of Minnesota, and really around the country for sports. We've got hockey right here in Minnesota. The Wild are across the river, as it were, having a game this evening. And of course, we've got 4 playoff football games starting this Saturday afternoon. The eventual Super Bowl champions are playing tomorrow in Lambeau Field, and of course, they'll be wearing
that's true they are, but they're wearing maroon and gold.
They'll be wearing green jerseys. And it looks as though we are ready to, as we're quick discussing football, we're going to actually now have Jeff Williams getting ready to discuss a little bit of basketball as we're getting ready for the second half. Let's go down to the sidelines and Jeffrey S. Williams. Check that. We'll throw it to him in just a couple of seconds. Live stuff is wonderful. We're at half right now. It's 28-25, Bettendorf, Iowa. One of the Quad Cities. They're on top of one of the powerhouses more often than not in football and in baseball. But the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders are down by 3, 28-25 to Bettendorf. And as I'm getting a little bit of a thumbs up, I feel ready to throw it down to Jeff Williams. And let's roll with that feeling. How you feel about that, Kyle?
I would say kindly toss it.
Let's kindly throw it to Jeff Williams. Nothing.
And no, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff is not the buzzer that you just heard. He is an actual human being who speaks English.
Oh, my heavens. Jeff is just tracing down head coach Kurt Clark, and we got him in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go out to Jeff Williams now.
Okay, we're here with Coach Clark from Bettendorf. Coach, you had a heck of a first half there with a feisty Cretin-Derham Hall team. Can you discuss that first half?
Yeah, I think both teams are very competitive and willing to fight for loose balls.
And can you discuss the 13-3 run that they had to come back into this?
Yeah, I mean, some of that was on us, some of it was credit to them. We turned the ball over in situations where you can't do that, and they're pretty good in transition.
And then what do you have to do to make adjustments in the second half?
Oh, we got to make our layups.
All right, thanks, Coach. Back to you, Webster.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And a very pointed piece of advice from Coach Clark. You got to make your layups.
The simplest of them, man. I mean, even in the pro game, you see that. You see that, teams that miss their layups, miss their free throws, they tend to struggle. When you're right next to the bucket, put it in. You miss a few jump shots here and there, that's okay. But if they're going to give you that position down there, you got to put the ball in the basket.
They call them the high percentage shots for a reason. I mean, you think about it. If you're afraid of getting a foul,
you shouldn't be down there anyway.
Yeah. Get up. You can't take the heat. Get up out the kitchen.
That's why I spent most of my time in the conservatory back here shooting threes when I played ball.
Well, I will tell you, I was big enough weight-wise to be down in the paint, but I am not blessed height-wise. I may be 5'6", tops.
So with the hair?
5'6" and a half with the hair. Hi-yo. Now we go in as Hedinger, who was not an original starter, or Hedinger rather, is on the floor and tries to get an entry pass into Newman. And Newman gets it poked away.
You got to imagine they're going to have a different type of defense here. They know they got to stop Newman. I would expect to see double teams almost right off the bat because they can't let him be the guy that beats them.
Immediate rotation as well, and now Bettendorf puts Bear up on top of him, and Bear misses a step in and up and under.
What I meant to say is it doesn't matter. Newman's going to drive the lane and make layups anyway.
28-27. Oh, Newman. And as I take a look at the official steps, yes, the Bulldog. The Bulldogs are, in fact, the ball holders, as Sam Newman had 15 points in the first half in 16 minutes. And a three-point bucket for Jackson. It's good.
And he left it up there. He hit that, and then he left the swan as he went down the court.
He knew it. He had the neck up there, and he watched it go on down. 31-27, the lead now to 4 in this second half. And a big shoulder down. That would be good for probably a couple extra yards, I would think. If that was the Raiders v. Bulldogs on a football field, I'm pretty sure that Gresham would have got a first down.
I hear Houston is shopping the number 1 pick.
Houston's shopping everything.
Andre Johnson can come play for the 49ers.
Andre Johnson was looking great in green and gold. I'm just telling you. Ball into the hands of Sortillo. De Sortillo. Tiene tiempo para ti. Stop, pop, no, outside. And a big shot up and no good, and it looked nice out of the hands, but no good. Now a thought of a three-point, now ball inside, what a find Big old pass from Clearman to Kendall Jackson. It's now 6 is the lead. 33-27, already a minute and a half gone. This has gone fast so far.
Yeah, it's been a quick one. Here's a 3 attempt.
Gresham, 3, in, out, no good. Sam Newman there with the rebound. He kicks it out. And Ausman Jones is the one who is not on the floor on the original starters. Gresham, little zip pass over to the corner. Back to Gresham, outside the NBA three-point line. Far side away from us, in front of a good crowd here for Cretin and Bettendorf so far.
And we look, and there's no Cretin-Derham player.
And a three-point ball good by Joe Rozga.
For a good portion of that possession, all 5 CDH players were on the perimeter. You know, they don't have that big, tall guy that can sort of anchor the box down there, whereas, Bettendorf has Bayer, who's made his presence felt down there on a missed layup, but a rebound and a putback.
Nice play. Cole Clearman, that's Coach Clark saying, you got to make your layups, but if you don't, get your rebound.
And then make your layups.
There you go.
Or 6-foot jumpers.
35-30 is the score. Now 2.5 minutes gone already. Ball into the hands of Hottinger. Hottinger now back over to Gresham. He's got a nice little first step. Looking for Newman, now instead settles for Rozga. That's a nice settle when he nails a three-point ball at about 20 feet away, and the lead is down to 2 with 15:20 to go. It's 35-33. Nice rotation on offense, Kyle, for the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders on that time.
Absolutely, and then again, we see Sortillo getting himself under the basket. Hard to make a shot from under there.
It's a 3-on-2 break. Sam Newman needs to realize his numbers. Gets it off to Gresham. Everyone gets back. Gresham loses control. Whoops. Ball regained control by Buman. And Sortillo loses control. Whoops. Now back up to not Gresham, but Langford Johnson rather, and resetting the offense, slowing things down, pulling it back. And a very good idea to do so instead of trying to keep the track meet going.
We might get a run here.
Big run. Here comes Sortillo on the trail. Up, under, no good. Rebound controlled by Sortillo. Sortillo gets thrown to the ground, no call, but he gets the bucket. And it's 37-33.
Mr. Sortillo needs to go and work on his left-handed shot. Both of those right-handed from the left side of the hoop. You just work on that left hand a little bit, easy layup instead of having to rebound your own shot.
I love that idea. Always love that. 37-33, a timeout called, I believe, by Cretin, and in fact it was. And starting the clock on the timeout, and Kyle, it's been, it was a little bit up and down in the first half, and it seems as though we are kind of continuing that exact same trend in the second half.
A lot of speed. These guys are willing to go at ball hawks. I'm seeing a lot of guys jumping after the ball, a lot of bodies on the floor. You like to see that. They're willing to go after it, and that's good to see, is that these guys are not getting tired. They're staying strong. And remember, Bettendorf, I don't know if they came up here last night or if they got up real early this morning to make the trip. Cretin-Derham Hall had a real short trip, maybe even shorter than Lakeville from earlier this morning. So, that talks about, Bettendorf certainly has answered the bell when it comes to energy.
I honestly would hope that they didn't make the drive this morning. I would almost have expected that they probably took the day off from school yesterday, if they didn't even already have it off, and come up here yesterday. Maybe make a day of it, go to the Mall of America before the bottom falls out on our temperature gauge tomorrow. It would be very, very fun as we're taking a look at some of the scoring records. And as an alum of Graham High School, kind of took a little nod as I saw Isaiah Dahlman's name up there. 2005 Graham graduates, or 2006 Graham graduates rather, who he scored 30 points against Dudley of North Carolina on his way to Michigan State for 4 years. And thinking about that, Kyle, there have been 20 states represented in the Timberwolves shootout.
That's true. West Virginia, California, Florida, Texas, New York, South Dakota, Minnesota, you got to include Maryland, Louisiana, Wisconsin, all 4 corners of the country, north, south, east, and west. Talking about Mr. Dahlman and his good game in the 18 years now. I guess we have a couple of games left to go today, but up until this moment, the best performance in the history of this tournament belongs to the Minnesota Timberwolves' Kevin Love, who dropped 41 points.
3-point bucket, Sam Newman, and it's good. The lead back down to 1.
Newman's coming after the record. He's got to be getting close to 15 to 20 here.
He was already at 15 going into the half.
So he's got at least 6 in the second, so he's at least at 21 here. But again, Kevin brought 41 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists against another NBA All-Star, probably Drew Holiday, who now plays for the New Orleans Pelicans in their game a couple of years ago.
And Gresham gets called for the push. That's been something that they have been consistent in calling on both ends. If you're going to put that elbow up into the midsection, you will get called for it every time.
And we're seeing Cretin-Derham Hall, that's at least the 3rd charge that we've seen Bettendorf take. You're giving away possessions that way. You got to keep yourself in control. If the drive's not there, pull the ball back, dish it out. You just can't run over a guy. It's not 1st and goal in the NFL.
So now ball into the hands of Bettendorf. Outside three, Clearman. Back rim, no good. Rebound on a run for Grisham. And just yanked out of his hands by Clearman. And redemption is given away and put back up and in, that time by Jack. 2 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, if you get 4 tries at it, one of those is probably going to go in most of the time. You can't give a team 4 opportunities.
You sure hope. Newman pump fakes at the 3-point line. Fall away 3. Good. He is on fire. Feed the man the ball. Feed the beast. Give it to him. Just keep giving it to him. The lead is 2.
There's a man in his face, his last 3 shot attempts. This not wide open. There is a contest, and he is saying, you know what? You can be in my face. I'm going to put it down.
He says, I look at your defense. I don't care about your stinking defense. I'm going to make the 3 anyway. Clearman with the ball. Clearman sets up, finds a cutter. Big defense by Jaleel White. Austin Jones up under, and it's tied.
Why not make the good defensive play and take it yourself? There's no need for this passing.
He had the lane himself. He was either going to get fouled or get the layup or both. He got the layup. It's tied at 41 with 12 and a half to go. 3-point ball, corner bucket, good. Oh, talk about answering with Matty Henson, and it's 44-41. That's a good game.
We are in for a shootout here.
We are at the shootout. You like that?
Touche.
Yo.
I don't know how long Bettendorf intends to single cover Mr. Newman here with one guy, but another couple of threes, and we can expect a double team every time he touches the ball.
But he's got such a quick release as right now Gresham has the ball. Step back now, outside 3-point ball. Razga. Their basket should be good. The basket should be good. And are they going to call the foul on Bettendorf? Black one. Sam Newman. So a loose ball foul on Sam Newman. 3-point ball is good. But while the ball was in the air, Sam Newman got a good, solid 2-point takedown on that one.
And he's saying to the referee that he's the one getting held and getting pushed. And again, we'll have to see if that comes into play later. But you've got to keep Newman out of foul trouble. He's the guy keeping your momentum here. I don't think any of us expected a 44-44 tie with 12 minutes to go in this game, at least not on paper. A heck of a game so far.
Cretin-Derham Hall has come to play. The purple and gold taking on the black and yellow. So Bulldogs with the ball. Portillo, 3-point ball. Does it go again? It misses. And right there on the rebound is Sam Newman. Newman wants to take on all the Bulldogs. He says, I don't care. I'm going to go up at it. Ball fouled on the floor. It looked like he was kind of going on the shot, but either way, he gets fouled, reset the offense, and get the first foul of this second half on Bettendorf.
You appreciate the tenacity, but 1 on 4, don't be afraid to dribble that thing out and set yourself up. But again, they're going to get the ball here anyway, and we'll see what happens. Out of bounds player, we've seen some good out of bounds plays so far today. They're going to go immediately to Newman on the wing.
No surprise whatsoever, as now step back, and Roscoe looking for the lead, but Newman hustles it out. A nice no-look behind the back pass out to Roscoe. Roscoe now outside, 3-point ball, no good. Who's there? Oh, it's Bear. Bear got that, not because he was in good position, but he is 6'7".
And he jumped high.
Sure did. Now ball fed outside. Now back to Sortillo. Sortillo for 3, and it's good. 47-44. This is, in fact, a big shootout. No look pass corner. Razga can't get it to answer.
The last 2 shots by him, he needs some legs. He's a little tired. He's coming up short on his last 2.
You almost want to see a nice find as Bear cuts. He gets rewarded for his hustle, and a little mini 5-point run off the last tie makes it 49-44. 10:59 to go. And Kyle, it's been back and forth now, very offensive. Defense has almost been abandoned a little bit in the last about 2 minutes worth of play. But it's also been the defense not as much abandoned, but the offense is just starting to turn it up a little bit more.
And you start to get that adrenaline. If you're down on one end, and even, you gotta give credit where it's due. Bettendorf is playing good defense. If a guy hits a 3 in your face, you want to come down and get the ball and do the same thing. And when you start to get in one of those back-and-back shootouts, then unfortunately you start to see a guy get a little bit tired on the one end. It's going to come up a little bit short, and that's where you see that quick little run, because Bettendorf, obviously they're showing no signs of bus lag. They are here, they are ready, and we're seeing that at 49 points so far.
49-44 for a team that averages 63 a night. On this pace, they will score more than 63. However, Cretin-Derham Hall averages 86 at this pace, not even close to 86.
And then on the other side, too, defensively, Bettendorf thus far only giving up 29 points a game. It looks as though they'll give up at least twice that in this game, and that probably won't sit too well with the head coach when they talk about this game, win or lose, afterwards.
So ball inbounded now to Gresham. Gresham gets it now off to Owsley Jones. Owsley Jones now into the far corner for Jeff Rosga. Zips it inside, in and out of the hands of Rosga. Just a little bit too much. And Kyle, you mentioned this a couple of times. Rosga, he looked gassed.
Yeah, he needs a break, and unfortunately it looks like he's probably really good defensively. They've got him on Sortillo, and they need him on the floor. So one of those times you just got to dig deep and find that third wind and then get ready to play the next 10 and a half minutes. Sortillo looking low.
Ball fed inside now to Bear. He takes on 1, 2, 3 Raiders and doesn't care. He goes up for it. Now ball fed off, and it's going to get to Michael Hannon. Hannon now back outside.
And that was excellent defense back on this end. All three guys in the middle, all with their hands straight up.
Big float. Nice little split the defender work by Gresham, and he puts it up and in, and it's now 49-46. It's now ball inbounded to Sortillo. Goes through the legs. Sets up the offense. And as he yells go, he crosses over and nails it from 15. Back to 5 is the lead, and under 10 to play in regulation. Ball now up towards the top, and Sortillo read the pass, through the leg save, and he gets into the scoring table on the far side. He's okay, everybody. But holy cow, the hustle on Sortillo, eh?
Yeah, he is certainly a little spark plug for him. He's going to get a blow here, a little chance to rest, and I'd be willing to bet he'll be back on the court in 2 minutes. So he's certainly a spark plug for this offense, and clearly playing great defense as well.
High fives and a good round of applause, and right to the Gatorade for Sortillo.
Trivia question, Michael Jordan's favorite flavor?
The green.
Wrong, yellow, lemon lime.
Dag
This is close.
nabbit.
Is there even a green Gatorade? That sounds disgusting.
Well, I literally just went for the color of the cup, to be completely
There you
honest.
go. Greenish orange.
We'll go there. Now a foul down low on the block on 23 for Bettendorf.
I should have made that a Twitter
Lentz.
trivia question now that I thought about it.
You should have. Where were you on that one?
The cotton candy guy's out over there, and I got confused.
Well, that's true. We're both 30, and we haven't taken Ritalin in our entire lives. We'll get distracted pretty easily.
He didn't need stuff like that in the 80s and 90s. Just needed the outdoors and probably a couple of cans of Surge or maybe a Clearly Canadian.
I remember when. Nice ball, post-entry pass, lob up, and an attempt, but you cannot lob over 79 inches of defense.
Oh, see, there he's got to get on the ground. He waited way too long.
There's a 2-point takedown. There should be a 2-point takedown on number 13, Cole Clearman. My heavens. Oh, things are getting a little bit chippy right now between these two teams. It's 51-46, and a timeout called to maintain possession by the Bettendorf Bulldogs. This has been interesting over these especially this last about 25 seconds. People diving on the floor all over the place, and it's nice.
And you may concur now, but it seems to me as though Cretin-Derham Hall is a little tired. They're a little slow. You know, that was clearly a loose ball that Mr. Newman should have gotten to. Came up a step short.
Yep.
It looks like this is a good timeout for them to take a couple of breaths here, maybe get a little Gatorade in them and rejuvenate here for a second.
Yes, indeed. So 9:17 left. We take a look at the scoreboard, and it says 51-46. It's a 5-point lead for the Bettendorf Bulldogs, looking to try to get back to that state championship game. And based on how they look, I'm not a big whiz on Iowa basketball, but I wouldn't see why they wouldn't have a good chance at doing so.
Well, if they're ranked that high, and if the team that they played in the tournament again last year is an ability, Bear was wide open on a cut there, just got missed. Well, that'd have been a heck of a ball game to see last year, Iowa City and this Bettendorf team. That'd have been a fun one to be at.
3-point ball, no good, but a rebound down on the block, and there's going to be a loose ball foul, I think, on Owsley Jones. Yes, indeed, Owsley Jones.
Raiders foul on number 11, Owsley Brown.
Sometimes I forget that I still have my ringer on. I'm going to go ahead and put that back down as I hear the whistle of the Hunger Games.
Oh, I thought that was the theme to Shirley and whatever. I lost.
Laverne and Shirley?
Yes, that's where I was going.
Fail. 3-point ball, corner bucket, no good. Oh, you missed a wide open Hottinger on the break. Gresham with the ball, and it's poked away. And Kyle, you've mentioned this a couple of times. This is where the conditioning in November at the beginning of the year gets you.
Yeah, you got to be able to play the final 8 minutes here. It's like the fourth quarter. This is okay. The third quarter's done. You've got 8 minutes and 45 seconds left. You got to erase a 5-point deficit. Do you have it in you? Is it in your heart to stay up with the 61st ranked high school team on the in the whole U.S.
Up under Sam Newman. Oh, Newman again. His older brother plays at Wofford College, which is in Spartanburg, South Carolina. A slight D1 school in the Southern Conference with teams like Davidson, of course, where Steph Curry played.
Those teams that wreck my ballot every year, or my bracket.
Every single time. And what did Coach Clark say at half? You got to make your layups, and missing a layup is Bettendorf, and now a back pass. Ill-advised pass by Sam Newman, and no one goes for it. Now finally getting it is Hintz. Hintz with a jump stop. A full jump stop. He looked like a hop, skip, and a jump.
That was an audible jump stop. Like, you probably picked that up, ladies and gentlemen, on your computer device. That was a pretty solid jump stop there.
Yeah, 53-48, the lead back to 5. Now back outside, Rozga. He's got a little bit better leg on that one. That one just a little off. And a rebound controlled by Clearman. Clearman on a full sprint. Finds a man, and it's poked out of bounds to break up the break. Rozga came from the far corner all the way to break up that pass. That's some good hustle for a kid who only a couple of minutes ago looked like he was about ready to take a nap.
And here comes Sortillo back into the ball game along with your pal, Mr. Urkel.
Owsley Brown. Is it Steve? Steve Urkel.
Right.
Good TV show reference, of course, the Family Matters.
If his mother is listening to this, she is definitely going to tweet something very. She's not going to like that at all.
Nah, she'll. Come on, man. He wears this. He wears the rec specs.
We'll call him Horace Grant.
Well, okay, we'll go Horace Grant.
Yeah.
Horace Urkel.
There you go. We just combined the two.
Yep.
Because we can do that in the magic of broadcasting.
Magic of broadcasting. Nice shot, and Jax got the good follow through, leaves it up, and Jax extends the lead now to 7. The lead was only 3 at half. It's 7 now. Owsley Brown at the elbow. Stop, pop, good.
You meant 5.
He drains it. I mean 5. How quickly it returns. The last few years, of course, the Apple Valley High School has played in the Timberwolves Shootout. They will be the headliner later on today. Now Kendall Jax keeps his arm up on the three-point shot. Big block by Owsley Brown. Oh, what a block. Sortillo regains it. And Hottinger gets
went
it.
up and got that like a man, and here's a big outlet pass.
Owsley Brown, stop, three-point ball. Oh, that should be a foul, and it is. Oh, Newman. Oh, Newman.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
You can't even hope to contain him, because when you dive at his knees to say shot, he doesn't even care. He hits it as he hits the deck at the target center, and the lead is down to 2. Could be trimmed to 1 with this 4-point play right now, Sam Newman.
Now remember, in the first half, we did have a missed free throw by Newman. So that makes the point. This could be the tying free throw. It won't be, being that we had that earlier miss. But he's got to have these. And this is the time of the game now where you've got to make your free throws.
Substitutions coming in. Gresham back in. Hey, as you notice, he's now mentioned as Gresham in the overhead announcement.
That's because you went down there and you strong-armed the PA announcer.
I did do a little bit of Heisman Trophy on him, I will tell you.
Except his head was the ball, not the stiff arm.
Hi-yo. Newman, back rim, ouch. So the lead stays at 2.
That's okay, he'll probably just make a 3 the next time we come down.
He can't do it from 15, he's got to do it from 30. 6:25 left on the clock, 2-point lead. Ball out to the corner for Sortillo, up over the reach of Owsley Brown. And the lead is back to 5. Oh my. Fans on prep45.com, powered by grandstadium.tv. You've got a treat for you right now, and thank you so much for watching today. Rebound squeezed by Bettendorf, stealed away to Jax. Jax somehow gets to Clearman. Clearman goes up, misses, and Owsley Brown. I think he took that benching at the beginning of the second half a little bit to heart.
A little bit.
From the parking lot, Sam Newman nails it.
We're going to be talking about Sam Newman the rest of the day.
Oh my heavens.
He's got to be bordering on 30 points here.
58-56. He was at 15 at the half. He's got at least 4 3-pointers. Ball on the ground, but still remaining control for Bettendorf.
Oh,
Long
there's your
cross-court
pass.
Now getting away with a double dribble is Sortillo. Sortillo now off to Jax. Jax misses it. Ball still up in the air and controlled this time by Bear. Bear up, under, and it's good. Wow. 31 points for Newman so far, surpassing the scoring of Isaiah Dahlman from Graham High School.
he's going to get his name on the Jumbotron next year.
He will.
And he may not be done yet.
I would, if you're a Cretin-Derham Hall fan, you would hope he's not done yet. 60-56 is the score. Only 13 points behind the scoring record of Rick Rickard for three. Oh, back rim, no good. Sam Newman couldn't get it there. He's already back on defense, though, and this is now where Bettendorf might want to be content with trying to take about 45 seconds off the clock on this offensive possession. Winners are drawing the points.
Yeah, they certainly don't need to rush here. I mean, you've got a solid 4-point lead here. You're on. I know we got a double team at the top of the key here, but a good swing. That looked like a travel to me.
And a poke away by Owsley Brown, but again, running out of floor space and spilling a beverage over there and hitting a computer.
You know, I think if Mr. Peterson's sitting over there this evening, it's going to be an exciting spot to be.
Oh yeah. So now Owsley Brown, for his efforts, he is rewarded with bench time.
Great job on that almost steal. Come sit down over here. But you got to get some fresh blood in there. You got to stay strong.
Keep those legs on the floor. And now ball into the hands of Clearman. Clearman now into the corner for Jacks for three. Good. Oh boy. And Bettendorf, they'll take a couple of jabs towards the jaw, but they'll counter with the roundhouse themselves. And now a timeout, Cretin-Derham Hall. Oof. Looking at it for Cretin-Derham Hall. They lost in the Tommy tournament, 72-62 to Rosemount. Rosemount is a very talented team. Nonetheless, they had the luck of the Irish, as it were, working for them. And you look at it, Joe Newman already is getting looks from Division I schools, Toledo and Northeastern. And that's just now, you know, I mean, and Newman still has another year to gain even more attention.
And you know, a game like this that is gonna be you know, on the web is gonna have a lot of talk. And again, you also look at who the opponent is. You know, you can put up 31 points against a really bad team, no one's gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
When you can come in and score 31 points against a team that's ranked very, very high in this country, that's not too bad. And they're showing now here just the top individual performances from the shootout, and we're nearing you know, right around the top 10. Matt Thomas on Alaska with 33. And
Josh Smith, who's now in the NBA.
And there you go, top 12 all time. You know, was tied with Johnny Woodward with 31 points. And I'm gonna give him at least one more three before this ball game's done, minimum.
Sanjay Lumpkin, of course, the stepson to Jim Peterson, had 29 for Benilde. You know, lots of very talented players. Nate Walters, starting point guard for the Milwaukee Bucks, had 29 points. He's outscored him in this thing now. So, you know, lots of good things happening for this good kid.
It makes me wonder how many Tyus Jones is going to put up this afternoon.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Fun nonetheless right here, a 7-point deficit for the CDH Raiders. They've got the ball and the deficit, looking to trim into it in this last 4 minutes, and in fact looking to get rid of all of it, of course, by the end of the game. Crossover dribble by Gresham, goes at the entire defense. Float up under back rim, no good. Oof. Little advice from Coach Clark of Bettendorf. Make your layups. And a push foul on Clearman.
Oh boy.
Ooh, Gresham comes out of nowhere to try to get it. As we try the official, let's get the old broadcasting selfie.
I went smile, you went crazy face.
I didn't do anything. Hang on. Let's try it again. It didn't actually work. That mild break was brought to you by our selfie. That's right. And next we are going to have to do a duck face broadcasting picture.
I'm for it.
Newman!
For three!
Oh,
Boom! Boom! Sammy Newman! His brother CJ plays at Wofford. Right now he's playing for Cretin-Derham Hall, and it's huge. Got another three. Unofficially 34 points for the man, 63-59. Taking a look at it, Jacks, no look pass, 3-point ball, corner pocket, no good. Rebound controlled by Owsley Brown. He came back in, got a little rest, got a little Gatorade, had about 3 minutes of real life time, and the ball poked away. Get on the ground. Yes, you get on the ground. Now ball over to the corner, 3-point ball. Roska gets blocked. That's a bear of a block. Woo!
He really bared down on him, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Outstanding. Big defense, big recovery defense, coming backside to try to get over that. So now baseline out of bounds. Trigger is going to be Gresham. Gresham lobs it in. Sam Newman from deep three.
He was awful deep there.
He was almost out of bounds from where he was shooting. Now a 4-on-2 break. Top pop at the elbow. Back rim, no good. Owsley Brown with
inside
the
of
rebound.
three. 3 guys around him.
Came down with that rebound.
Mylanta The lead is still 4. Crossover dribble for Gresham. Goes at the defense. Looks for a foul. Gets it. And will go to the line.
You admire that. The little guy in between 3 guys goes up and yanks that thing down. That's hard.
That's Charles Barkley. When you talk about like Charles Barkley, he was 6'6". He was a power forward. 6'8", my bad. But still, he wasn't a tall power forward. But it was by sheer will. And that's what Owsley Brown. He wanted that ball. There was nothing going to stop it. First free throw for Gresham happens to go in. The lead back down to the original halftime lead of 3. 63-60. This is a good game.
Yeah, CDH, they weathered a storm there. There was that little run, that 5-point quick run, called the timeout, got him settled down, and now we're down to a 1-possession ball game.
A small possession nonetheless, as both free throws good by Gresham, and it's 63-61, 2.5 to play.
With some full court pressure here. Got to watch out for the 10 seconds.
Oh, got it over it at about 7, and he bumped over the top Hottinger, and he looks disgusted at himself. He's like, ooh, the ball was right there, and if I would have had about a third of a second quicker of reaction time, I would have poked it away. Instead, I gave him a hey, good game.
Each team only with 5 fouls, so we're still clear of the bonus here.
Still a full foul clear of the bonus, and heavy pressure on the inbound.
Ooh.
And still 3, 4.
Gresham has played some excellent on-ball defense on Clearman here at the beginning part of this half.
And good idea by Gresham, but he only had 1 foot ready. He was not there, so he's going to get called for that blocking foul. And now from here, for the last 135 seconds of regulation and into any possible overtime, bonus basketball for the offense of Bettendorf if Cretin has any more fouls. Buman getting a little aggressive down there on the block on Hottinger.
If the 34 points is accurate, it moves him to 6th most in the tournament's history. 5.
And they're going to call a foul. They're going to call a foul on 4.5 seconds. Great defense by Rozga, but he got a little too up close and personal.
Foul number 2.
If you say so.
It was close, much to the dismay of the Cretin-Derham Hall faithful.
I look at it this way. If you're reffing this game and you see a point guard pick his dribble up from 35 feet away from the hoop, and that's his fault.
Yep.
If the defender is there and playing good defense, you call that 5 seconds.
So Sortillo now goes for the 1-and-1, looking to gain the bonus, and he does. So now the lead back up to 3.
That's probably why we're in the shirt and tie there in the striped ones, right?
Yep. I mean, they are horizontal, or they are vertical stripes, so I mean, both of us would still be okay as far as any type of flattering or disflattering. Both free throws good. Still technically, if you want to get right on it, it's still technically a 1-possession game. As Rozga has proved.
Anytime Newman's got the ball in his hands.
Outside the 3-point ball, it seems as though they're content with a 3-point shot. 3-point ball, Newman got it. Oh my gosh! 37 gets the busted face. That one gave me a stank face on that one.
I want to give him a hug. I want to hug him. I want to hold him close to me and tell him that he's doing a great job. He is.
Via osmosis, I want to have that type of 3-point J. Nice find up and under, and a charge. A charge on Jax. Jax, huge find as he found Bear wide open, but he barreled down first.
The Cretin-Derham Hall side is coming alive. If there's another 3-pointer in the heart of Newman somewhere, it might bring this place down. There's easily, 150 to 200 total fans on that side of the field, on that side of the arena. A lot of purple over there, so this could get intense here with just a little over 90 seconds to go.
Outstanding play so far, 65-64. Bettendorf with a 1-point lead and almost the ball. Rozga now into Newman. Newman with 37, goes at the defense and makes it, and it is now a 1-point lead for Newman. And the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders. Newman on the floor. There should be a player control foul. Oh my gosh. Everyone jumping all over the floor for the ball. Hottinger thought he had the ball, thought he had a timeout called, but he was on the line when doing so.
And the CDH coach thought he had a timeout call too. He stood there holding the tee at the referee for a solid 10 seconds. Less than a minute to go in a lead.
Talk about active hands. Active hands for Rozga. Someone's wide open. Bear, power step, travel. And he,
oh my goodness.
Oh my, he threw it up from his hip. And I look over at Mike Peden. He literally almost lost his cookies on that. Rozga up under, no good. Ball up in the air, and it's controlled by Buer. and a timeout by Bettendorf. With 32 and a half seconds left, it's 67-64. Bettendorf, 67-66. Bettendorf with the 1-point lead. Kyle Lindrum, that play down there where Nick Bear shot it from his hip after he hopped, skipped, and jumped.
I'd like to see that one again. I'm going to need to see the replay on that. That sure looked like a travel to me.
Wow, is what I've got. And in this, you see Bettendorf call a timeout. Why do you think Coach Clark called that timeout?
A lot of chaos. Bodies flying around, the ball's up in the air. This is the time now where you can set up a play. You can say, all right, guys, breathe a little bit. We know we've got the lead. They've got to come at us. So let's calm down. Let's call our play. Let's run our offense. On the other side, the coach from CDH has got to be saying, listen, guys, we are 1 point away. Let's play good defense. Let's not foul. Let's get a rebound, and let's come down and win this thing with the last shot of the game. That's got to be the message both ways. You can tell both coaches very, very, they're not yelling. They're not overly hyped up, which is good. You see some of those coaches that just get overly animated.
Yep.
They're all just kids, remember? And This is a great way for them to learn that in this situation, 1 point game, big game, take your time, figure it out.
And this goes to show too, as a duty of coaches of youth, and yes, some of these kids are technically adults. If some of them seniors are 18, they're still youth. And it's such a valuable lesson that's outside of the basketball court. This is a life lesson. Things are going. You got to make sure to be able to breathe, take a half a step back, and evaluate what you need to do in order to get the outcome you want. And that's the type of life lesson that you can teach to your players. And that's why doing anything in high school is so valuable, to give yourself the chance to have those extra learning opportunities.
Right.
So now, here we go, 32.4 seconds left.
Ball is inbounds.
Let's play.
An awful place to pick up your dribble.
Trap up at the half court, and Newman fouls Bear. And I think they may have waited to get the ball into the hands of Bear to allow for maybe what they have read the scouting reports as to where Bear is free throw shooting.
And you don't see that. Normally your big, tall center guys aren't your best free throw shooters, but if Bear can make a spinning, pirouetting shot of some kind, make a free throw.
And one free throw does he make, doubles the lead to 2. Definitely not insurmountable. Definitely still plenty of time to do so. Looking at it, resetting, there's a timeout and a 30-second timeout left for the Raiders of Cretin-Derham Hall. Second free throw, also good. He doesn't care.
If Nick Newman's on the court, 3 points is not an insurmountable lead.
And a timeout, full timeout called by Cretin-Derham Hall head coach Jerry Klein Jr. The lead is 3. It's been 3 for a good chunk of the time. And Kyle, you had a very valid point with a kid with 39 points who has hit three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer. 3 is not that big of a deal.
And another thing, too, we remember from earlier in the game, he's made all those threes, he's got 39 points, he's missed 2 free throws. This could be a 1-point game where you don't need a 3, you just need a 2, or to draw a foul to make a couple of free throws. So that's one thing. If this game comes down, let's say that Cretin runs out the clock here and does not make a basket to end the ball game, you're going to look at those 2 free throws and think, oh boy, probably need to shoot a couple extra ones of those in practice.
And then come Tuesday, come tomorrow morning, come when Sam Newman gets home and goes to his local Lifetime Fitness, he'll sit there and he'll shoot 150 free throws.
And he'll probably make 148 of them.
Yep. And he'll kill him.
Yeah, he will. And he'll shoot him again.
Yep.
But they just showed it up again on the big screen. If it is in fact 39 points, that is the 4th highest point total in the history of this tournament. I kind of need to say you got to see that.
Behind Rickert, behind Love. Granted, Rickert, 44 points. 44 more points than he ever scored in the NBA. That's a valid point that you...
probably more than he scored in Europe, too.
Let's be honest. So, here's your game reset. A 30-second timeout left. A foul now would put the Cretin-Derham Hall Red Raiders at the line. Not Red Raiders, just the regular Raiders. But Bettendorf, I foul. They're settling for one shot. They're settling for one shot right now.
They're going to put it in his hands.
For 3 from the half-court line. And that might do it. Nope. Foul on Jackson.
It's all over but the crying now. Boy, if that would have gone in.
Oh, my Lanta.
But I will say this, what an effort.
Yeah.
From a team that was, I think a lot of us thought was probably going to get beat by 15 or 20.
Cretin-Derham Hall has come to play and is showing that come section playoff time, they'll be a 2 seed behind Apple Valley. So they won't have to play them until the section championship game. Timeout for Bettendorf is just to kind of rally people a little bit. 3-point lead, 69-66. and this is right around where Bettendorf averages for the year, but defensively, this is way ahead of, or way over what they had averaged for the year.
Well, they average giving up 29 points a game. Newman has 39, so he has outscored their average all by himself. Obviously some points chipped in from the other guys, but this game, it's sort of been Newman and Sortillo. They've kind of gone back and forth. I'm trying to think number 25. Jax has also had his hand in it, a couple of corner threes. But again, you look at things like free throws, you look at things like, a possible travel down here that end up going into a bucket.
Yeah.
That's a 4-point swing.
And 4-point swing, that puts Cretin-Derham Hall up by 1, and Bettendorf behind the 8 ball. Right now, unfortunately for Raider fans, the Raiders find themselves behind the 8 ball with Bettendorf on the line. Bettendorf, this is the last opportunity foul-wise to have just a 1-and-1 and see what happens now with Jax at the line. And he gains the bonus. The lead is now 4. And now vacating the lane.
I'm almost hoping they inbound it to Newman and he makes a 75-foot three just to cap off the day.
Free throw, good. So the lead is 5. For 3 at the end of the game. That'll do it. That'll do it. Your final, 71-66. Cretin-Derham Hall played very well, and we'll be shooting it over to Jeff Williams here in just a moment. But hats off to Bettendorf. Darn good team.
A for effort, without a doubt.
Yeah, a bleeping good team, to be completely honest. There's no two ways about it. They played everything out there. Both teams did have a lot to be proud of. 71-66 is your final. Next game for the Cretin-Derham Hall Raiders. They're going to be at Hastings on Tuesday, and next up for Bettendorf will be Davenport West also on Tuesday. Up next here at the Target Center, big game. It's going to have De La Salle in the against St. Rita of Illinois. That's going to be the first game technically to take place in the afternoon. We're looking at Jeffrey Williams on the sidelines, and we're going to be talking with Jeffrey Williams and head coach Klein. No, check that. He's going to go to Sam Newman, I believe, in just a moment once he gets the warm-up shirt. Taking a look on the sidelines. Jeff Williams now will be joining Mr. Sam Newman, 39 points, and we'll throw it down to Jeff Williams and Sam Newman right about now.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
And right down to Jeff Williams. We'll go there right now with Sam Newman now.
All right, we're here with Sam Newman. Sam, if you look up on the board tonight, you'll notice that there's the names and the performances of others in the Timberwolves shootout past, and your name and your point total for tonight should be up there. How does that feel?
So it feels pretty good. We played a real tough game. I shot the ball well, but it's exciting to know that.
You can't fell short. You almost beat. How does that make you feel?
I feel really good about where we're at right now. We're coming off a loss, our first loss of the season. We bounced back really well with a few seconds left. I thought I had that last shot, but just a little off. But it felt good though.
That last shot, a little frustrating.
I've been hot the whole game. I thought I made it, but what can you do?
All right, this is the 18th shootout. How does it feel to be on an NBA court?
Be back here later for state. We'll see how the season goes, but it was a fun.
All right, well, great performance today, Sam, and
Thank you very much, Jeff. Very nice interview with one of the stars of the game. A little bit short as far as his team performance went, but as you take a look at it, Sam Newman, 39 points, and I mean that's huge. Individually, he did pretty darn well, and his team didn't exactly do poorly either.
No, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people believe this game was going to be a pretty big blowout. A lot of people looked at the point totals and thought, yeah, it's probably not going to be as close as it was. And, I only wish that perhaps we had been able to see Mr. Newman take on Lakeville. Maybe a little McCurra, a little Newman one-on-one battle might have been a little fun to see. Perhaps someday in the future that will coalesce around something that's possible.
Well, I mean, you think about it, both guys are looking. Well, one has officially already signed, as McClure JP has signed with Xavier, and already getting looks his junior year from schools like Northeastern and also I lost it and Toledo. So I mean, already getting some D1 looks, but looking at it final score-wise, again, the final score 71-66. Bettendorf came to play.
Yeah,
they didn't leave any legs on the bus, and they were pretty good.
It was a heck of a ball game. I mean, that's it'll be hard pressed for either of these two games after this to live up to that billing. That was a well played game, a very hard fought game, and a lot closer than any of us thought it would be.
With the loss, Cretin-Derham Hall falls to 8-2. Of course, still 4-0 in the Suburban East Conference. And they will be next taking on Hastings on Tuesday. And for the Bettendorf Bulldogs, they improved to 6-0. They'll be taking on Davenport West on Tuesday, back down in Bettendorf High School down in the Quad Cities. Want to thank so much for turning on to Prep45.com, powered by Prep Stadium or by Grand Stadium TV. For Kyle Lindblom, I'm Webster Ford. Get back here for the 1 o'clock game. That's going to be another tight one, as De La Salle will be taking the court to take on a pretty good squad from Illinois.
Absolutely.
So, thanks a lot, Kyle.
You too, Webster.
All right. Have a good day. We'll be back in about a half hour.